All right, I had to send this link out send this link out to Facebook because I also, you know, do some stuff on Facebook as well. But let me see, because I want to make sure this ain't breaking up. Every time I come on here and talk, seems like this thing breaks up. All right, let me just see. So of course, I know no one's gonna come ask any questions, but I'm just probably just gonna tell you guys, and maybe some questions might pop up. Who knows? But you know. Anyway, let me see here. Let me put my phone right here real quick. You're gonna hear a back play. I'm just trying to check and make sure I ain't lagging or anything like that. Well, let me see here. Turn this off. Go back in. You know what's crazy? Seems like my reception always starts messing up. All right, so I sound fine. So for the people that are going to be watching later, or so was going to be a little question and answer thing, but let me just see if I can move this real quick because I probably might be breaking up anyway. All right, so I'm gonna see if it's better right here. I'm hoping that this could be a permanent spot for me to come on here. Let me just check. Cause yeah, my room definitely does not get any reception. So I had to move over here into the living room, see if it worked a little bit better. Let me see real quick before I even start. And of course, if you guys can hear me, you know, I'm gonna be going back to when I first started, when I first came on here. You know, anybody want to know how I came to the truth? I'm gonna be showing you exactly on my channel, exactly, and I'm gonna be showing stuff that's not on my. I mean, talking about stuff that's not on my channel that I couldn't record, kind of thing. It was just stuff that was going on while I was coming to the truth, and that's what made me believe that whole scripture that says, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, so let me just see something real quick. I'll make sure everybody could hear me because I have this laptop in my lap and it probably might be blocking my mic a little bit. Let me see. Make sure everybody can hear me because I have this laptop in my lap and it probably might be blocking my mic a little bit. All right, so for now I sound fine. But anyway, it was about 2012, right? And I gave half of it. I gave like not all of what I wanted to talk about in the video, where I did talk about most of this stuff, but you know, this is just like, it's like in 2012, right? And this was when Obama had got reelected. It was like during the election or whatever. And I remember they was counting up the tally of the votes, and how everybody was so happy that Obama had won again, right? And I was a dishwasher, at a pizza shop, and I was sitting back there and I was washing dishes, and when he won, right, uh, it was just like everybody was in there. They was super happy. They was all jumping up and down and all that stuff, right? And it was just something that day. It was just something that day. It just did that. It was like something just didn't feel right that day. So still working and stuff. And 2013 rolls around, right? Let me just be. Hopefully, if I do this on another page or another tab and drag it off and just use this, I could probably just go through my channel and show you guys the stuff that I'm gonna be getting into after I tell you about what I couldn't, what I wasn't even posting back then. This was going on before I came on YouTube. So yeah, in 2013 it was like 2013, that's when I started like reading, like picking up my Bible, wanting to read. But before that, I was going to, you know, I was going to church, and I got baptized in like, what year was that? I think it was like 2007, 2008. I remember it was around that time because I graduated from high school. Hello, truth. I hope you don't bring your little posse in here to disrupt anything. But anyway, so I'm sitting here. Um, what was that? What year was that? Yeah, I got baptized in 2008, 2007, late 2000. Like I said, I think it was in October 2017. No, 2007. I got my certificate, so I gotta find that when I get unpacking, and I'll show that to you guys. Probably sometime when I find it. But long story short, well, it's gonna be pretty lengthy story, but I just want you guys to know, you know, I just want you guys to know what's going on, like how I came into the truth, and so I just want to talk about how some of this stuff matter, and some of this stuff, it matters, but then it's not really important because like we got bigger fish to fry other than some of this other stuff that's going on. But I'll get to that point when we get to there. Hello, Monica. Let me see here. Hi, Melvin. Hope all is well. Sorry, I haven't seen you in a while. Glad to be here. Well, I know most people, that you guys are busy and stuff like that, but yeah, welcome back, But in 2013, right? That's when I got baptized. Now in 2014, um, it was all this talk about, well, I used to be watching like all the science stuff, and what is that, Discovery Channel, and all this stuff. And you know when when I was watching that, I used to have questions on, like, how everything formed, because we know what they tell us in school, how everything formed, but how everything came into being. And that's going to be another part, this whole story about how I came to the truth and everything like that. But in 2014, I remember sitting in the backyard when I was staying at the apartment. And I remember sitting there and I was just, wondering, I was just talking to myself when I said it. I just was like, I wonder if God created, all these planets and all these galaxies. I'm like, I wonder where God is. I used to ask things like that because, never heard anything about where he was, dealing with all this stuff. But I started finding out the whole little reason for that, but that's another story. But let me see here because my reception is. It seems to always act like that when I come on here, right? It's just kind of weird that every time I come on here, but if I'm watching videos, if I'm somewhere low, if I'm watching videos on YouTube, my reception will be just fine. But when I come on here and I want to go live and I start doing the going in the scriptures and stuff, or you know, that's when it starts acting crazy, right? I find that very funny. But anyway, so yeah, in 2014 I wondered that. Now, I believe that the Most High, I believe what the scriptures say. I didn't know it at the time because I wasn't no, Bible thumper. I wasn't all into my Bible like that, right? Well, yeah. But yeah. So I didn't really get an answer. And then, you know, when I had started, hearing about, because I'm gonna bring this news article up too, because I want you guys to know that the timeline, I'm not making this stuff up. Most people be like, oh, this guy's just making stuff up. No, I'm gonna show stuff. Let me see. I know you guys remember the whole talk about Nibiru, right? Planet X, right? Remember that back in 2014? And then all these preachers and all these false teachers was coming out talking about, oh, Planet X has this dust tail of comets and it's really wormwood and all this. But let me just bring this up. Hold on. Now they got a video since June 12th called Does Planet X Really Exist? But I want to go back to 2014 because this is when it all started after I asked the Most High. Well, I didn't really ask him, but here it is right here. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me go to news. Maybe I'll find that article doing that. This is from 2021. Here's a picture I want to show you guys too, right? Hold on. just take a gander at this, and I want you to ask yourself something. Hold on. Let me share my screen real quick. I'm gonna share my screen. I want you guys to see this picture real quick. Hold on. Look, take a look at this, man. Ask yourselves questions when you see something like this. Okay. I just want you guys to see this picture. Tell me what you think about this. Zoom in on the moon. Okay. Tell me what you think about this, huh? Look at this. You see the blue sky through the moon. Okay. You see the blue sky throughout the moon. Let me just bring it over here. Look at this. Come on now. That's part of the moon right there. And this is part of the moon right here. And then you got you ever look at the moon in the daytime, guys? Yeah, and this is almost a full moon in like rise. This thing is out before the sun. Okay, you can see that this is dawn, right? It's not dusk. When it gets dusk, you see the black sky, right? When it's dawn, you know, but no one ever sees this, right? Because this also, and this is from NASA, solar system exploration. Ask NASA why do we see the blue moon? I mean, not the blue, the blue sky through the moon. Ask them, see what they tell you. Ask them how they land on it. You know, ask them questions because they're phony. But anyway, this deals with part of why I came, what truth I came into. And people might think I'm crazy. People might call me I'm crazy. But look, so I asked the Most High, I'm like, I wonder if, I wonder if he really created aliens and there's other intelligent beings up there or out there or whatever. So, after that, after I asked that, that's when the UFO, because like at first I used to be just like everybody else, listening to rap, drinking, partying, and sleeping around, doing all that stuff, right? Doing what everybody in the world does, a part of the world, right? So that's when I started, like, it was just one day, it was on YouTube, I'm scrolling through my little music section, and all of a sudden, like, I go on something that said trending, and that's where they put all the music. So in the trending section, it was like this video, and it's like shocking UFO seen over blah blah blah. And then I scrolled past it, and then something was just like, wait, just go back to that video. So I scroll back up to the video, and I'm watching it, and then from then on, that's when the whole thing started. Because I'm like looking into this. I'm like, the USA got all these documents, and I had questions about Roswell and Dose Base, and all that stuff. I seen videos of Phil Schneider, the guy that was doing the what's his name on the Dulce base, and he was talking about his account with tall gray like beings underneath the earth when they were drilling. Um, let me see here. Let me see. Um, let me see. I'm gonna bring that video up. He was a military man too. He was like in the military, and when he came out and he was talking about some of this stuff, of course he thought they were aliens, but they ain't. When it talks about there were giants, there were giants on the earth. You got let's see, let me bring this up, right? You guys heard that story about the military when they went to go fight the giants in Afghanistan? But it was, let me just bring this news article up. Hold on. Because the Bible is consistent. He said that there were giants even after those days, after the flood, and they're still here. And people might not believe that, but okay, you find these stories, right, in the news where they saying that they fought giants. Okay, look. Let me go to the news article. No, they talking about. See, they flood this with all this other stuff. And this was in 2018. I want to see if they got anything a little bit more. This one was in 2012. Right. Let's go back to that point there. And this is in theguardian.com. Because remember, this is all dealing with the timelines here. But I didn't never see this article back then, but I ran into it in 2015. The whole thing was what's up, Doc Day, whoever that is. Dave, King of the North. And let me see what this guy said here. Melvin, is there a reason why we need slavery? is there a reason why we need slavery? What do you mean by is there a reason why we need slavery? Slavery was a part of history and it's also a part of that prophecy that was happening. And people get that. People tend to get things mixed up and misconstrued, and they it's a touchy subject. Okay, let's just put it that way. It's a touchy subject, and I would rather keep my hands off certain subjects, although I can go into them, but you know, maybe on another topic, you know. But I'm gonna tell you this: the reason why slavery happened is when you read the book of Deuteronomy. I'm not just talking about one chapter. You read that whole book, okay? The whole book, word for word, every line, without, jumping around here and there. You read from beginning to the end. It took me about 1.5 years to do that and it took me 4 years before I actually understood what I was reading, right? And then when I started seeing things happening in the world, it's like that was the wake up call. But anyway, just read Genesis all the way through, read all the books all the way through in order. It's basically like, you're reading a story, but the only thing when you want to reference back, let me just give an example here. Let me just give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. All right. So let's see here. Because remember, but first, let me do this whole thing about the Giants, right? So I won't just be forgetting about that. But anyway, so this is when I was going into hold on, wait a minute. Let me see. King of the North. That king in the North, you kind of look like somebody I know. But anyway. So Dulce Base, right? They was talking about this. And then, this, if you guys go to my channel and you'll see that I did a live, right? I did a live. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you guys live. You guys look at that, right? And go. So we're going to do this. Again, I find it very, very funny that my reception always messes up for some odd reason. Okay. It just amazes me. But anyway, go to my videos here, right? And you go down, you will see that I did a live dealing with the Super Soldier program. I also did something about Project Bluebeam here, if you guys heard of that back then. I also got a number of stuff up that nobody, really touches on, like, the original creation here, dealing with exposing Masonic trash and talking flat earth, right? Also, you won't find much of me doing this here, right? But I do have videos according to the Bible, the children of Israel. And what does this look like? It looks like our stuff got stolen, because if you look at the picture of, well, I'm not even going to bring that up because a lot of people get a little bit touchy when I say something about the Holocaust. So I'll just say, go look at the same picture that they got of the Holocaust and how they on there. And it makes sense, right? Someone's trying to copy someone. But anyway, here you go right here, right? This is the live I did dealing with nanobots and super soldiers, as well as many other things. But I really cover a lot of flat earth and prophecy. That's what I tend to do here, prophecy, flat earth. I get into some of the lost books, the days of the last days, book of Esdras, right? I get into a lot of stuff, and I go around and I show you guys this tech that they're putting up, right? And I also got many other videos, Revelation 13 Examine, right? This is the first one, my testimony becoming to the truth. This is all about teachings, right? This is me decoding this whole Economist magazine. I'm gonna show you guys this, right? How they put everything right in front of our face, and everybody just carries about, right? And this also ties in with a little bit of my testimony here about when you see something, you can't unsee it, right? So Economist magazine cover for 2020, right? They telling you exactly, what's coming after this, right? And you hear it. So let's see here. Let's go on here. Now, I'm gonna blow this up so you guys can see this, right? This is their magazine here, a magazine cover, The Economist. They also have one from 1988 where they got a Phoenix Eagle standing over the burnt world currencies. I'll bring that up as well. But they got that. Let me show you here. A lot of people was talking about this in the past. Well, let's go to the Economist magazine cover 1988, right? This is in 1988, right? And they were telling people back then, right? Let's just get the original photo here, right? And look at this. On the Economist, they talking about all this stuff up here. And as you see, the Economist date for this magazine is January 9th through the 15th, 1988. Okay. And here you see this Phoenix here with this saint, like this saint's crown on his forehead or whatever. And it says, get ready for a world currency. And then you see here, 10 Phoenix, 2018. Then you see here, this Phoenix here is standing on the burnt world currencies, every last one. You got the yen, you got the American dollar here with Abe on it. You got, all these bills from different countries, right? And they're all burning, and out rises this Phoenix with this, this gold coin on it. And this, when I seen it, I said, this has to be Bitcoin, right? And you guys see Bitcoin is blowing up, right? But let's go back to this one here. I'm going to show you guys this. The world in 2020, right? And you see how they got this all laid out, right? It just amazes me when you see something, you cannot unsee it, right? You can't. It doesn't happen. So it says here, the world in 2020. You see the red and the green here. And then you see this. You see Trump, right? Then you see Brexit. And then you see right here, AI. You see Tokyo. And you stop here. You see Mars right here. Mars. Right? What are they talking about in the news? Mars. And then you got climate. And then you got Z, like the Chinese president. And then you got recession stopping here. And then you got, Modi Expo. And then you got the abbreviations for San Diego. You got the abbreviations GS for Golden State. And then you got Bond. Then you got Beethoven Vision written in red. Visions. And then you got biodiversity written down here. And then the rat tied into the year of the rat, which is 2021. Let me show you that. the year of the rat. And you go here, 2021, right? Year of the rat, 2021. This is the whole thing about them using this Chinese stuff, right? And they say projection. In 2021, the financial prospects of rat people will be greatly improved. Their work at hand will reach shore. You see that this is false. This is why you don't, they say this is the years that it fall on. And then it says here that 2021 is actually the year of the rat. See, all this stuff on this Economist magazine deals with everything after 2020, right? Some stuff. And then you see NPT, right? And what happened? Let's go here. NPT, right? What is that? NPT. That's what it talks about. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT. Remember what happened with the NPT? It was abolished by who? So get this. You have that NPT right here. And then right next to it, it says war. And then you go down here and you zoom in a little bit more. And then it says rewrap. And then it says Nightingale. And the last word here is Russia. So, I was looking at this and I was like, you got to be kidding me. They, everybody talking about it. And then look at this one. They just put this one out, right? AI spy. And you got this big camera. You guys ever read 1984 Orwell? Go and read that. Okay. This is what they're pointing to right here. Everything's under control. And they got a guy walking his dog on a leash, right, with a face mask on. And this guy from the air walking him with a leash. What is going on with this? What is up with this? Why are they putting stuff like that? And it says big government, liberty, and the V. Come on. And then they got this world in 2020 stuff. And then they say the next catastrophe, how to survive it. And look at these pictures they put on here. Look at this. The volcanoes erupting. They got a picture of a pig right here. They got a picture right here of a penguin on a melted, like the ice caps melted, right? And then you got this. Right. Look at this clock here. Look at this. Look at this. Just tell me if this is just, if this just is like not them telling you. And these people, let me get a bigger view of this. Let's do this here. Let's see if this come up clear. Yeah, it's clear. All right. So on The Economist, this is, again, The Economist from June 27th to July 3rd, 2020. They say the next catastrophe and how to survive it, right? Look at this. I'm going to explain these birds right here, right? But it all makes sense, right? First, they have this pig here, right? Then they have this volcano erupting. Then they have, like, the sun has the heat from the sun has melted. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this. Oh, I can't zoom in. They got this ice cube here and it's like small and a penguin is standing right on top of it, right? Then on here, they got a meteor coming to the earth, right? And then up here, they got the clock 1 minute to midnight. You guys know what that means, right? I mean, it's just amazing, right? Amazing. When you start seeing stuff, you cannot unsee this stuff. This is from January 27th, 2021. And look at the position of this clock here. Okay. It's set. They say it's set at, it's 100 seconds to midnight, 2021 doomsday clock statement. This is a science board, scientists that do this, right? And you see the position of this clock number here. Now let's go back to the economist, and it's the same hand that's about close to midnight here. And then all of a sudden you see peace, right? Peace. And then you see this outbreak here, all these germs. What is up with that picture? Then you see this mushroom cloud, right? This big mushroom cloud here. And then you see a solar flare, right? Look at this. Because I find it very fascinating. They say this is all supposed to happen in, look at this, 2021. So let's get this. This is from NOAA. Alert, watches and warnings. Right, let's look at this. Right. This is from the government, right? Mind you, this is from the government, because then the fact check says no massive solar storm expected at any time soon. Well, they got to go and say, well, they're basically, look at these two right here. They say it's a fact check, right? That's what they say. It's fact checked. So they say that this government website right here is wrong, right? So that just shows us that, they fact checked the government. And they're telling us that the government lied to us, basically. Let's click on this here. Let's first see where the date is. Yeah, it says August 5th, 2021. And then this is from July 16th, right? This is from July 16th, 2021. It says fact check, no massive solar storm expected anytime soon, right? But then up here, you got NOAA saying the month later that it indicate a coronal mass ejection associated with a flare event. But I'm trying to click on this. So yeah, here we go. So let's see what NOAA, let's read. This is the Government Space Weather Prediction Center, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, right? Let's see what they're saying here. This says here, right here, space weather message code ALTEF3 serial number, right? And it gives you all this stuff, right? No space weather scale description can be found at the website link. Potential impacts: satellite systems may experience significant charging, resulting in increased risk to satellite systems or whatever. So let's see. What is this here? Geometric K-index thresholds, right? So let's see here what it says. It says potential impacts here. Area of impact, this once again is in August 2nd, 2021, as you see here on the timestamp, UTC, right? So it says potential impacts. The area of impact primarily poleward of 60 degrees geometric latitude and induced currents, weak power grid infrastructure can occur. Spacecraft, minor impact on satellite operations possible. And then they say aurora may be visible at high latitudes, i.e. northern tier of the United States, such as northern Michigan and Maine. And it goes on to tell you all this stuff, potential impacts. This is in August 2nd again. So again, you can't trust the fact checkers, because the fact checkers don't check the facts. You guys say fact check, no massive solar storm expected anytime soon. in 7/16, July 16th, 2021. And then a month later, you got Noah coming out saying there is indeed massive coronal ejections, right, coming to the earth. But again, this is, again, why I don't believe what they tell people, right? But, back on to the whole subject at hand, right? This is prophesied in Malachi 4, the earth will be burnt up, or the heavens will be burned, right? Off. So who knows? We living in the end days, right? But anyway, so 2015, that's when 2014, that's when the whole Nibiru thing was going on. And I remember we was in here, we was down at the apartment, we was doing earthquake drills, because they would talk about all these, storms and stuff, and these earthquakes and all this stuff, and the gravitational pull on the planet and all. And I believe that trash. I believe that trash because I was mind controlled from a birth, to believe that the current model of what they tell us we live on, was correct. And then that's when I woke up in 2015 to the whole thing about flat earth. And then that's what it made more sense. The Bible made more sense then from Genesis, because, why don't anybody ever talk about or read Genesis chapter 1, right? They go straight to number 2 and talk about the creation of man and woman and the fall of man. But where's the creation of the earth? Because it was here before us. When you look at science, right? Science says the sun was here before the earth. Well, my Bible reads that the earth was here before the sun, right? So who's lying? We know the Bible ain't lying. So again, it just makes one wonder. It's a lot of things. And when you go into the word for firmament, right, it tells you right there, the base, the earth, the foundation of it is flat, and it sits over. How we had those snow globes back in the day, and you shake it up and all the snow would fall all over the place. Well, just think of it like that. Let's get into the word once, because this also ties in, and I did research on it. And then you go and look at the words we use currently for, say, horizon or sea level. These things we use, these words, and no one sits back and they say, let me just wait a minute, because that's what I started doing, right? So I looked at this word for firmament, because indeed the Most High created a firmament, right? And then you start seeing stuff going, then you start seeing weird things with rocket launches, right? How they just arc in the sky, right? Let me bring this up real quick, because it's a lot, guys. It's a lot we've been lied to about, not only about, who the Most High real people are, but we've also been lied to about what we really, everything that, almost everything is a lie. And all of these lies are being brought forth into the open, to the forefront, right? So you go into the concordance here and you type in the word firmament, right? Type that in, and it's going to bring up all the verses where the firmament is mentioned, right? Let me bring this up real quick, because again, from Genesis chapter 1, God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Now, we understand that he divided waters from waters. One part went up, the other remained below, as it says in Ezra. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Okay. Second day, right? So let's go here into this word firmament. And you're going to see that this word firmament is rakia. And we're going to go all through this here, right? We're going to go through all this here, because a lot of people call me crazy and they quick to say conspiracy theory when dealing with certain topics, but no one really goes into these words we got in our Bible, right? Let's listen.
Strong's H, 7549. Rakia. rakia.
So it is used 17 times in this following manner. Here you go. Extended, surface, solid, the expanse, firmament, expanse, flat as base. So what is the support of the firmament? Because when I read my Bible, the earth supports the firmament, right? Firmament, the vault of heaven, supporting waters above. So where's outer space? They say up there is a vacuum. You know, they say up there is a vacuum. So how's there water up there? Huh? It says considered by Hebrews as solid and supporting waters above. And you go down here and it says this in the Strong's definition: properly an expanse, i.e. the firmament, apparently the visible arc of the sky, firmament. And then you look at a rocket launch and you see those things going, come back down. Where are they going? They're not going anywhere. It's all about, the whole deception. Now let's go all the way down here to the Hebrew Chaldean lexicon. And it says here, Genesis 1, verse 6, 7, 8. Psalms 19:2, fully. Genesis 1:14, 15, 17, 20, etc. The firmament of heaven spread out like a hemisphere above the earth. From the root, like a splendid and pellucid sapphire. So the color of it is like the color of a sapphire. Now, when you go outside and you look up on a clear day, you know what you're looking at. Okay. And it says here, to which the stars were supposed to be fixed. So the stars rest right there. When you look up at the stars, notice how close they are. And over which the Hebrews believed there was a heavenly ocean. Compared with Genesis 1, verse 7, verse 11, Psalms 104:3, Psalms 148, verse 4. Compare, however, Genesis 2:6. And it comes from the Vulgate and it's firmamentum, right? And then it tells you it's mentioned 17 times in 15 verses. And it all deals with the creation of earth, right? All this like this. To the chief musician, a psalm of David, the heavens declare the glory of God and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Well, why they don't talk about this, right? Why they don't mention this stuff? Praise ye the Lord, and praise the Most High, praise Yah in his sanctuary, praise him in the firmament of his power, right? What is this? Why they don't explain this, right? And then it says the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creatures was like the color of terrible crystal stretched forth over their heads above. And under the firmament were their wings straight and one toward the other. And this is in Ezekiel when he's describing Ezekiel's wheels, when he talked about the living creatures in the wheels with eyes all around, right? And it talks about this in Ezekiel, Daniel, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So what's up with this firmament, and why did they take it out in the New Testament, right? Why did they take that out in the New Testament? They call it heavens, but then they tell you it's the vault of heaven, and then they tell you to refer back to Hebrew word that Hebrew word there for firmament, and it's the same thing, right? But that's when I came, like when I started looking at all these articles dealing with aliens and stuff and outer space, and I started asking questions here when I was reading and I was going through these studies and looking into this stuff. A lot of people run from this stuff because it scares you. It really does. It scares people to know that, wait a minute, everything that I've been told is a lie. So I got to really just start all the way over from scratch. Everything that I know, this world ain't what you think it is. when you read the book of Enoch, right, in its entirety, and you read about the course of the heavenly luminaries, and you understand that we're not on a 365-day cycle, but on a 364-day cycle, and how they added time, and how the book of Isaiah, I believe, talks about how they seek to change times and laws, right? And they were given unto his hand for a time, times, and dividing of times, right? Whose hand are they given into? Those are questions we got to ask, right? There's other things in this book that people are not, being aware of, right? There's many things, and every answer you want is in this book, right? And then you start to see, why are they lying, right? Look at this. Let me just bring something up, because a lot of people misconstrue this scripture here. We're going to read this in its context a little bit. This is what it says, right? Let's share this, because I love reading scripture. Scripture is going to give you all the answers, right? That's what happens. People are afraid because, their soul is convicted from that point on. Once you see something, you can't unsee it. We'll show you a picture. We'll show you a picture as well. Hold on. This is out of Isaiah chapter 40. Comfort ye, my people, saith the Most High. Let's say that. Let's say that. Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, for she hath received the Most High's hand double for all her sins. The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Most High, make straight the gate to the in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. Right? Rough places plain. This is when he comes back, when he say that the hills are going to melt like wax, right? The glory of the Most High shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of the Most High have spoken it. The voice said, cry, and he said, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all ungodliness thereof has a flower of the field. The grass withereth, the flower fadeth, because the Spirit of the Most High bloweth upon it. Surely the people is grass withered, the grass, but the word of our Father, said, word of our Father, stand forever. Hosea, that brings good tidings. Get thee into the high mountain, O Jerusalem, that bring us good tidings. Lift up thy voice with strength, lift it up, be not afraid. Say unto the cities of Judah, behold your father, or behold your God. They say God, but I like to say your father, or your stuff like that, because again, when you go into these Hebrew words, you'll start to understand why they put God in here, to replace the name, right? God is a title, and they put Lord and God here into those words again. Behold, the Most High will come with a strong hand, and his arm shall rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him, and all like that, right? And he says he shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He talks about this. He goes in here and asks this question: who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand? Who meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth with a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Right? Who have directed the Spirit of the Most High, or being his counselor, have taught him? With whom took he counsel, and instructed, and taught him the path of judgment, taught him knowledge, and showed to him the way of understanding. And it talks about here, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And it talks about Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast sufficient for burnt offerings. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. To whom then will ye liken, or what likeness will compare unto him? And it talks about the workman melteth a graven image. Talk about these men making grave. This is specific. This is literal. The workman melteth a graven image. What you see happening when they make these statues and these golden images that got all over the place. Just look. The goldsmith spread it over with gold and cast the silver chains, right? And they talked about all this stuff. How he that is so impoverished that hath no oblation chooseth a tree that will not root. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image. This sounds like that Jeremiah 10 thing. That shall not be moved. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told to you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundation of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. The inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth. God considered the firmament heaven, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spread them out as a tent to dwell in. And it says here, that bringeth princes to nothing, he maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. They shall not be planted, they shall not be sown, their stock shall not take root in the earth. He shall also blow upon them, and they shall wither, and the whirlwind shall take them away as stubble. And it talks about all this, right? And it talks about why, talk about Jacob here. It talks about all this, right? You read this whole thing here. Read the whole chapter. And then this part right here, that really stands out. He say here, right here, these two verses, it is he that sitteth upon the circle. And this is where people run into that problem. They get brain fogged and they actually think that a ball is a circle as well. Let's just look at a picture of a circle. We learned this in 3rd grade. Right? Just put in circle. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. The circle. Does this look like a ball? No, it's a circle. Right? This is a circle. Right? Circle. Circle. Right? Now let's put it in sphere again. Two different things. Right? Images. You guys need to know the difference. This is a sphere. This is not a circle. This is not a circle. This is a 3-dimensional object. We live on a 2-dimensional plane. Right? Airplanes fly across the plane. Right? The definition of a plane. Right? By shortening, airplane, right? One of the main supporting surfaces of a airplane, a surface in which if any 2 points are chosen on a straight line, straight lines don't curve. So when they tell you this is the way the earth look, we learned shapes in middle school, in grade school, right? They tell you that this is this. But the Most High says this is he that sitteth upon the circle. Circle. This is not a circle. Okay? This is not a circle. This is what everybody believes we're living on now. And they actually believe that water could stick to this. Well, it makes more sense when you have water inside this, right? It makes sense. In the middle of the circle, you can pour water in here. Just like when you have a cylinder, right? Let's go to this here. You have a cylinder here. You pour water in it, and the water stays flat. You don't see it bulging, right? You see, and on top of that, this thing is spinning 1,000 miles per hour and shooting through space at, greater times than that. Yeah, you don't see hurricane force winds daily, right? Every day we're spinning 1,000 miles per hour. Let's just do this, right? Let's just go on what we learned. Look at this. This is all you got to do. How fast is the Earth rotating? Roughly 1,000 miles per hour. It rotates, at 1,000. Look at this. Look at this. This is the demonstrate. Look how fast this thing is going. You mean to tell me that while this thing is going here, while this thing is going like that, you see this. You see stuff like this. You see this. Right? On this. How does it work? This on this. Right? Let's just do it. Let's just do this. Right? Look at this road here. This, and you see all that off in the distance there. And you see the from left to right on this. How is it possible? Can anybody answer that for me? David. Hello, David. I knew you were here, my bro. How you doing, David? Answer me this, David. Because you read the Hebrew, right? Look at this, David. Look at this picture. This here on this. Come on, David. You want to come on and tell us what it says in the Hebrew, what the rakia is, really? Come on. Everybody that's sitting there that's going to be watching, you guys should all know that, that David, he's considered a real Jew, right? Let's bring David on. Can I bring you on, David? So we can straighten some things out, right? It's elementary. Hold on. Let me see if I can find you. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me put this banner up for David. Let's bring David on. Because David, I'm still going to, we're going to compare and see. There you go. Right there at the bottom. Right. Okay, David. Okay. As you say, David. So there you go. Actually, let me just put on one of these other banners because that was an old banner I had a while back. I was asking people to come on and talk about what they were going through in their what was going on in their area. That's the current event one. Where is this here? I just want you guys to see, that again, if David is going to be honest, you could see exactly what the word says, right? It says the same thing in what I just showed you, right? And David, I'll allow you to bring up Rashi's notes as well, so everybody can see Rashi's notes, how it says the same thing. David, I told you, look, David, I told you I don't really eat sweets like that, right? I don't even eat none of that stuff, right? You worried about boycotting her ice cream thing, and I'm telling you about some other stuff. But anyway, you don't got to come on right now, David. We could just have something going. I don't want this to be off topic. But anyway, back to the whole point at hand, right? This all deals with part of my testimony here. How when I asked the Most High, about all this stuff. And then he just started leading me to some of these Bible verses, and I started looking up the words because I wanted to know. I wanted to know what was what these words meant, right? So I went and looked for myself, and then I started looking at different stuff that ties in with what we learned and what I could see actually with my own two eyes on a daily basis, right? So then 2016, after 2015, I was looking at before that, I was into, I started finding out stuff about what's going on in the music industry and all that stuff because again, I wanted to be a rapper and I used to make beats. I used to do a little bit of music here and there. But I think it was around 2015. That's when I had a dream about, it's crazy because it really I really seen something that dealt with that, and it made me believe what I had a dream about was actually true. And I'm gonna show you guys an article if I can find it if they ain't scrub it off the net. But in my dream in 2015, and I ended up seeing this actually happen, I believe. Let me see if I can get this article up. But I'm not gonna do it right now. I was sitting there, I had a dream that, it was this black table. It was like a black marble table. It was a black door, it was a black chair, and it was like this, piece of paper up on a desk, like a contract or whatever. And I see two golden records, two gold plated records sitting on each side of this black door. And then it was like a silhouette of these guys standing there, and they was like, I couldn't make out face or nothing. I just seen the shape or whatever. And then it was like they signed a contract, and then they went into the back door, into that back room that they got behind this black chair. It was a black door, and behind that door, it was like I was just looking through somebody else or whatever. So they had these, they had this they had this pentagram drawn in a circle, and all these candles surrounded it in my dream. And they had this altar set up, and they put the record on the altar. They had this black book, and I was reading from it. All I seen in my dream was this entity pop up out of this circle that they drew this pentagram and read out of that book. And that whatever it was went and attached itself to a record. And my dream, the background went all white and black letters. And people know because I told this many times back in the past. The black bold letters popped up and it spelled out this word JINN. Right. So I didn't never I remembered that that dream. And it was like a few months. It took me a few months to actually go and look up that word. And I'm gonna show you guys this word here. And I find it very fascinating that it is about to tie in with this whole thing here. And I was like, this is like it tripped me out. It really did. But let me see this my internet app, right? Because I find it very funny. I find it very, very funny that my internet always starts to act up when certain people come into the room, right? And leave. But again. So let's bring and let's type this. This is in Wikipedia. And it says here, this is the meaning of this thing. I had a dream, but in black bold letters, it spelled this word out, all caps, right? And it says here, blow this up so you guys can see this, right? And take this down a little bit and highlight where I'm be reading from. This whole thing, this whole paragraph, right? So this is what it says. It says jinn, Arabic, also romanized as the jinn or angelicized as genie, with a broader meaning of spirit or demon, depending on source, are supernatural creatures in the early pre-Islamic Arabian and later Islamic mythology and theology. Like humans, they are created with fitra, neither born as believers or nor as unbelievers, but their attitude depends on whether they God's guidance. Since jinn are evil or innately good, Islam acknowledged spirits from other religions and was able to spirits from other religions during its expansion. Jinn are not strictly Islamic concept. They may represent pagan beliefs integrated into Islam. So I looked at this and I said, you got to be kidding me. So they're conjuring these, and it makes you wonder that when people listen to this music, they don't even really acknowledge the most like that. And when you do listen to this music, you listen and you hear these celebrities come out and they tell you openly that they sold their souls, right? So that makes one wonder. And when I had that dream, that was one of the first dreams. And then I had a dream about, what's going on now. But yeah, that, I can't talk about most of that stuff. You guys go over to BitChute. I'll give you guys a testimony on that. On BitChute, I won't get shut down, but it deals with the current situation, right? It deals with this current situation that we in, how people was walking out those tents glowing like a light. But, I don't want to scare anybody because I know some people already got that, you know what. But, just go on, look, I'm going to show you where you can go. You can go on my channel. I'm not going to talk about it and I'm not going to make any ties here. But I want you guys to do your own research and look into some stuff because the information is out there. But I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to mention it because I'm already on strike too. And they're waiting for me to see somebody. They're just waiting. So I do have 2 strikes. Let me show you guys these. Let me show you 1 strike here. Let me just show you. I mean, they'll let me mention my strike, but I'm not gonna say nothing because hey, it is what it is, right? But let me just minimize this real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. So let me bring this up. This didn't deal with anything that I'm talking about, our current situation, but it was something that I was looking into, and this is what they struck me down for. Of course, I'm not going to mention anything that I mentioned in this content. They're just waiting for me to, do some stuff like that. But this is right here. I was talking about this and I was mentioning some stuff, putting some information out there. And they had shut me down for it. But it is what it is. I can't talk about it, but I want you guys to go and do your own research on that topic there. So be your own judge, So, 2016, right? 2016 roll around and this is when I dubbed it this strange year, because that was that bring this up, right? This is when I really started into all the biblical stuff that was going on, all that in 2016. That's when they was talking about what was that? What was that? It was something that was happening in 2016, but they had this thing about those clowns of trying to abduct little children in the forest, leading them out with candy and stuff on Halloween and all that stuff. And I dubbed that the strange year because a lot of strange stuff was happening. Let me see. I think the Ferguson the fervent riots had happened that year. Let me just double check this. Let me bring something up, a video that deals with that whole topic that I was talking about, dealing with the giants, and I was looking in the Dulce and all that stuff. Let me see. Let me see here. Oh, let me see. Let me see if I'm trying to find this this video. Here it is right here. All right. Let me pause that real quick. Let me share my screen. All right. Let me just share this real quick. This is one of those things. This is one of those things I say, when you see something, you can't unsee it, right? It just doesn't make it just doesn't make sense here, right? Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Look at how tall these guys are, right? Look at all these guys here. Turn this down. I don't want to get copyright strike or anything like that. Look at this guy right here. Look at this guy right here. And look at this guy next to him. Look at this. Right. I'm going to play this. Look at this. Look at this dude. Look at this dude right here. Remember the account when it said the giants were even in those days, and this deals with they whole, when you go look at that super soldier, that video I did on super soldiers. Look at this dude. This dude is. Look at this. He said this is the top of his head. Look at that. Look at him standing right next to this dude. This dude can't stop right here. Look at the size of his body compared to his body. It just don't look right. Let me go back, because it talks about the right back here. It was on the news, by the way. It's the news. Somebody's showing these people. Look at this dude. Look at the size of this dude compared to the size of the dude that's standing right next to him. Right? Add that one up. But you start seeing stuff like this, and this is why I was like, wow, what's going on? And people, people people don't want to see stuff like that because, it ain't an everyday thing when you see stuff like that. So I ran into that footage and I was like, that's when I started hitting the Bible heavy. And I started reading Genesis. I started reading the book of Enoch. And book of Enoch talked about, let me bring that PDF file up, by the way, and you got to go and read your Bible later, dealing with Genesis 6. I mean, everybody should know that chapter. But let me go into the book of Enoch. Right. Let me go into the book of Enoch here. Show you guys something. Right, because a lot of people Enoch, Genesis 6, for those that don't got the Bible, be fair. Or for those that need an example of what I'm talking about. But here's the book of Enoch. Here's the book of Enoch. Right. This is the book of Enoch. And I want you guys to see this, right? This is the book of Enoch. It talks about the blessings, God's laws, and all that stuff, right? Why is it important to know this stuff? Why did they take most of the stuff out the Bible? Why? Right? Ask yourselves these questions. It talks about this, right? It gives you a whole background about this book. Right? Let's go down here. The book of Enoch. I would encourage you guys go and get this PDF or go buy the hard copy. Right? So this is the first chapter, the blessings of Enoch. Listen to this. Enoch starts off giving a prophecy about the return, the second coming. Right? Listen to this. These are the words of the blessing of Enoch, according to which he blessed the chosen righteous who must be present on the day of distress, which is appointed for the removal of all the wicked and impious. And Enoch began his story and said, there was a righteous man whose eyes were opened by the Lord, or the Most High, and he saw a holy vision in the heavens, which the angel showed to me. And I heard everything from them, and I understood what I saw, but not for this generation, but for a distant generation that will come. Concerning the chosen I spoke, and I uttered a parable concerning them. Holy and great one will come out of his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread from there upon Mount Sinai, and he will appear with his host and appear in the strength of his power from heaven. And all will be afraid, and the watchers will shake, and great fear and trembling will seize them up to the ends of the earth. And the high mountains will be shaken, and the high hills will be laid low, and will melt like wax in the flame. That's what's happening right now. And the earth will sink, and everything that is on the earth will be destroyed. And there will be judgment upon all, and upon all the righteous. But for the righteous, he will make peace, and he will keep safe the chosen, and mercy will be upon them. And they all will belong to God, and will prosper and be blessed, and the light of God will shine on them. Behold, he comes with 10,000 holy ones to execute judgment upon them, and to destroy the impious, and to contend with all flesh concerning everything the sinners and the impious have done and wrought against him. Right? So then it talks about God's laws, right? And Enoch says this. He says, contemplate all the events in the sky, how the lights in the sky do not change their courses, how each rises and sets in order, each at its proper time, and do not transgress their law. They don't go astray from the law. That the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west, so does the moon. Consider the earth and understand from the work that is done upon it, from the beginning to the end, that no work of God changes as it becomes manifest. Consider the summer and winter, how the whole earth is full of water, and the clouds and dew and rain rest upon it. Contemplate and see how all the trees appear withered, and all their leaves are stripped, with the exception of the 14 trees which are not stripped, which remain with the old leaves until the new come after 2 or 3 years. And again, contemplate the days of summer, how at its beginning the sun is above it. You seek shelter and shade because of the heat of the sun, and the earth burns and with scorching heat, and ye cannot tread upon the earth or upon the rock because of its heat. Contemplate how the trees are covered with green leaves and bear fruit, and understand the respect of everything, and perceive how he who lives forever made all these things for you. So it talks about the creation of the earth, right? He tells you, and consider the seas and the rivers, and the rivers together complete their task. But you have not preserved nor observed the law of the Lord, but have transgressed and have spoken proud and hard words with your unclean mouth against his majesty. You hard of heart, you will not have peace. Why is he saying this? Right? And he talks about these curses here. Because of this, and because of this, you will curse your days, and the years of your life you will destroy, and the eternal curse will increase, and you will not receive mercy. Why is he saying this? In those days, you will transform your name into an eternal curse to all the righteous, and they will curse you sinners forever. For the chosen, there will be light, joy, peace, and they will inherit the earth. But for you, the impious, there will be a curse. Why is this? When wisdom is given to the chosen, they will all live and will not do wrong, either through forgetfulness or through pride. But to who possesses wisdom will be humble, right? So then it gives you account of the rebels amongst the watchers, right? And it talks about this, and we're gonna go into the Bible too, in Genesis 6, and show you guys exactly word for word what's being said here, and how Enoch gives you this full account. Excuse me. And it says here, and it came to pass, we're gonna go line for line, right? What is Isaiah? Isaiah what? Line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, right? Here a little on this verses, and here a little, there a little in Enoch. Listen to this. You tell me if this does not belong in the Bible, or if it does, right? Just tell me. And it came to pass, let me blow this up a little bit. Let me stretch this out so you guys can see this good. All right. So it says here, and it came to pass when the sons of men had increased, and that in those days were born to them fair daughters, and the angels, the sons of heaven, saw them and desired them. And they said one to another, come, let us choose for ourselves wives from the children of men, and let us beget for ourselves children. And it gives you this name here. And Semyaza, who was their leader, said unto them. Now, let's go here. You get the same thing. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and took to them wives, all of which they chose. Right? And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children unto them, same became as mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Okay. Now let's look at here. Semyaza is the leader, the angel that does this. I fear that you may not wish to do this deed. I fear that you may not wish this deed to be done, and that I will pay for this great sin. And they all answered and said, let us swear an oath and bind one another with curses, so not to alter this plan, but to carry out this plan effectively. And they all swore together and bound one another with curses to it. And they were all in 200, and came down on Ardis, which is the summit of Mount Hermon, where the United Nations has their base on that hill there. And they called the mountain Hermon because on it they swore and bound one another with curses. And these are the name of their leaders: Semyaza, who is their leader, Herakiba, Ramiel, Kokabiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Barakiel, Hasiel, Amaros, Hananiel, Zachiel, Samsiel, Sadiel, Toriel, Yumiel, and Arzel. These are their leaders of the 200 angels and of all the others with them. And they took for themselves wives, everyone for himself, one each. And they began to go in unto them. They began to go into them and were promiscuous with them. And they taught them charms and spells, and they showed them the cutting of roots and trees. And they became pregnant and bore large giants. And their height was 3,000 cubits. These devoured the 12 men, until they were unable to sustain them. And the giants turned against them in order to devour men, and they began to sin against birds and against animals and against reptiles and against fish, and they devoured one another's flesh and drank the blood of it from it. And the earth complained about the lawless ones, right? Right. So it talks about these lawless ones. And it talks about here in Genesis 6, right? They don't give you this. Oops. They don't give you this in the Bible, right? They don't give you this full account in the Bible. Genesis 6. You go to Enoch, and Enoch was shown all that stuff. He was shown the last days, how everything's going to play out. They hide this book because they don't know, you know. So it says here, in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw the wickedness of man was great on the earth, in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man who I've created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and these are the generations of Noah. So it goes and tell you this, right? And it talks about Shem. And it talks about Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But I'm going to bring this down because we got a plumber or somebody coming over. So I'm going to bring this down. We'll start this back up later. Shalom.